Alright guys, Nakia is here, and that means that the War Dogs are finally in full form and ready to take on the War Cena War offense. So in this video, we're going to keep it very simple. We're going to go through a bunch of high-value counters, talk about how the matches go, the progression of it, we'll give it a grade, and we'll see just how viable this team is. So let's do that, and before we do that, let's talk about some T4s and how to build this team up. Here's an infographic I made with my friend Jedi Matroza. You can find this on the Patreon or in the Discord in about 5 to 7 days. Both of those will be linked in the description below. So for this team, it's going to require heavy investment, both gold, training materials, gear, and in T4s. And the reason for that is because you're going to be probably using this team against Dormammu comps, RgHold comps, and Tangled Web comps. And those teams are going to be built really high by your enemies because, well, RgHold was the arena, Dormammu is a Dark Dimension character, Tangled Web has taken the Crucible by storm. So lots of people have those teams very well built. So as far as T4s go, basically all of them, minus like Shuri Basic and Okoye Special. Those are the only two ones that I would say you can safely pass on. Everything else has value, but if you wanted to be a little cheaper, you can skip Nakia Basic and Ultimate. I don't know. It's hard to say you could skip those when you're facing teams like RgHold. Then Black Panther Basic and Black Panther 1 Million Basic. They're both good, but they're not like must-haves. But this team is very T4 dependent. So what I want to do now is show you the team we're going to actually watch in action. This is not my team. This is a friend's team who's been nice enough to share the footage with me. He's got Black Panther Okoye both at 7 yellow, 7 red. He's got Shuri at 6 red, 7 yellow, 6 red, 6 yellow on his 1 million, and then 4 red, 4 yellow on Nakia. All teal gear, all ISO blue level 3, except Black Panther at ISO blue level 4, and every single T4 done on this team. So keep that in mind when you're watching this footage. I will say this team does perform extremely well against the not so super meta teams. Like if you want to just have a Young Avengers counter, War Dogs can take that out. Big punch ups at less investment. Same would go for a team like a New Warriors team. Or I'm trying to think of other defensive teams you see, like a Web Warriors team, it would crush that. So there are more cheap options you can use to counter with your War Dogs, but if you want to do the big boy counters, you're going to do the big boy investments. Alright guys, so a good base marker for the validity of this team would be Infinity Watch, because Infinity Watch are very close to finding themselves as a permanent war defense team, similar to the way Black Order did, with all these new war offensive teams coming out. And of course, I'm speaking to like the sweaty, greasy people who really take war seriously and who build up these war offense teams. For everyone else, you should probably keep your Infinity Watch on offense. But if you're in the competitive scene, you might start being forced to do this matchup. Let's see how this one plays out. So this is a slight punch up. Nakia here is 4 red, 4 yellow, I believe, so not super big. Let's see what happens. Now, like I said earlier, this is my friend Red playing it, so it's not actually me. We're just going to watch how he does it. I'm not going to critique it. I'm just going to watch kind of the damage numbers and how they deal with certain mechanics the enemies throw at them. I do agree with what he's doing here, though, going for a Phyla-Vell, the non-resing targets. He goes for the ultimate. Makes sense because of the immunity. The rebound chain wasn't going to get any defense downs out there anyway, and Phyla-Vell is getting rid of her. That's a 7 red star. Maxed out Phyla-Vell, getting obliterated. Black Panther's going to get the kill here because of the striker, and he's going to get to keep going. Looks like Nebula got absolutely destroyed. He's going to go for the Moondragon. Ooh, he could have killed Nebula there and got more turn meter on his Black Panther, but it really doesn't seem to matter. Because of all the damage that's happened, actually, Black Panther 1 million has given so much speed bar that it looks like Wakanda is going to get 2 turns before the Infinity Watch gets 1. Alright, stuck behind this Item Warlock, but again, that's 50%, so this is going to be another 10% speed bar coming from the Black Panther 1 million, right? I didn't see it, so maybe it had already gone through. This kills through Revive, so Adam Warlock's now gone. Nebula is going to be gone here too, I assume. Yeah. And so it's a 5v1, and Gamora already lost her first life, and that's done. Okay. That's pretty good benchmarker. That's good to start. All right, next up, we're going to look at War Dogs vs. Unlimited. This is a pretty good team. It normally pulls, because it gets super big, being that it's built for Horsemen. It pulls Infinity Watch. But if Infinity Watch is ending up on defense, you're obviously not going to have that answer. Can War Dogs clinch that one out? Let's go ahead and give it a look over. Now, they are all going to spawn with defense up. So and dodge. So I'm curious to see how this plays out. He goes right for the Dazzler. Okay, so he got the dodge and the defense up off. That's good. He's going to use the rebound chain. It's going to get a bunch of dodges off. That seems good too. So Gambit is just pinging away at our Shuri here. Luckily, the stealth from Nakia is actually going to give her some breathing room. Rogue gets to go stealth here. Gambit just got himself wrecked by counters. This looks good. This looks pretty good, right? Wow, Gambit got super wrecked by that Nakia. And that's only a 4 red, 4 yellow. You start seeing 7 red Nakias. It might be just one-shotting people outright. And the rebound chain does go through stealth. Okay, so they passed that test with flying colors. I can see that one doing giant punch-ups because of the Nakia stealth saving people. That's good. That's good to know. All right, now here's a crowd favorite in Crucible and in War Defense, so we've seen quite a bit. We got the Tangled Web with the astonishing X-Men team. Now we'll see how this one goes. People were theorizing when we learned about the War Dog team that maybe the War Dogs could be the answer to Tangled Web and Crucible because they do get to go first. Now here, Bishop kind of stops them from doing that, but the idea would be to kill Spider-Weird before she gets a turn. So we'll see how this plays out. I think Black Panther gets the nod. Oh, seems like it's a coin flip. All right, he goes for the rebound damage. There you go. Okay, so that was just absolutely insane damage coming from a very big Black Panther 1 million. So it does pull it off. Will that work in Crucible? Absolutely not, because 2099 will give the speed bar to Weaver, and that'll be a wrap there. But good to know that it works on War Defense. Alright, so let's test them against the Young Avengers. I did get a couple copies of this from Red. One was a big L. I believe this one shows a better strategy on how to handle it. So I want to share that one with you guys. And it's basically don't AoE. You want to get as much single target damage as possible. So he gets the Disrupt on Miss Marvel. And then he's actually going to use the ultimate here. Now, you kind of want to prep. Like, you feel like you want to prep the ultimate, right? You want to get as much defense down as possible before you do it. But in most cases, and I don't know if this was oversight on their part or not, but by the time Black Panther gets his second turn, Black Panther 1 million that is, the enemy has either cleansed or you're dead. So the single target ultimate to start, not a bad play actually. He takes out the Squirrel Girl, and that's why this one wins and the last one didn't. In the last one, he used the 1 million special, and he put defense down all over the place, and he dropped people super low, and then Squirrel Girl did her heal, and everyone was at 100% life, and they lost momentum. This War Dog team lives and dies on momentum, and as soon as they take the Squirrel Girl out, they're able to maintain their momentum. So they do beat Young Avengers. Just make sure that you are tunneling down the Squirrel Girl and not trying to spread it out. They got to chew through these dodges, unfortunately. That's a lot of hits, though. Good stealth coming from the Nakia. And she takes that hit like a champ, being how small she is. And then here we come with the 1 million special there, and they're going to get it done here. So yeah, they can absolutely beat Young Avengers. Just make sure you're playing it right. Tunnel out that Squirrel Girl, and then move on to just devastating rebound chains. Alright, so we got to see this team against some Dormammu variants, because we're seeing lots of different Dormammu variants, right? We're seeing Young Avengers Dormammu, we're seeing Uncanny Dormammu, we're seeing, I'm sorry, Uncanny, Unlimited Dormammu, we're seeing Heroes for Hire Dormammu, Tangled Web Dormammu, a bunch of them. So let's see how this one is Dormammu Chavez with Unlimited. Very popular team at the higher end. Let's see how this goes. Curious to see if they can get through the Dormammu before the rogue gets taunt up, because then that would be tough. But maybe Shuri, or not Shuri, Nakia would still just ping him out. Nakia doing some pretty good pings there already. This is definitely going to put him into stealth. But he got the immunity dropped. And, okay, he's gone. So there's still no taunt up on the rogue yet. There will be in a second when somebody gets pushed here. Sorry, my nose is itchy. But Black Panther does get the kill, which is going to give him just a bunch of speed. This ultimate's going to finish off that Dazzler. And this was a punch-up, if I'm not mistaken, about 100k. So this is a good sign. This is a good sign. So they can overcome the Chavez Dormammu with Unlimited. That's a big team. That's a big team. We'll see how they fare against other Dormammu teams here in a little bit. But yeah, see, they just start snowballing. Now, Nakia was getting pinged out the entire time by Gambit, and she just kind of held on a little bit. There she goes under stealth. He can give himself a bunch more stealths. He didn't. He did the ultimate instead of the special. Doesn't matter. He's still going to get the win here. Actually, I don't know if the hit would have came in before the stealth anyway. Regardless, good one there. Alright, so we got to test these guys. Oh, let's rewind that real quick. We got the War Dogs against a DormHold Red Guardian team at about a 70k punch-up. We'll see how this handles. It is a 7 Red Morgan, which is the ultimate test, right? So, let's see what happens here. You got to remember that Okoye stops, her assists stop because of Morgan. So that was the good play by Red there to make sure he basic to get the taunt off Red Guardian. He then gets defense down on both Agatha and on Morgan. Cool. Offense down on Morgan. That's going to help cushion that offense, or sorry, that ultimate. Good amount of damage onto Morgan. Let's see if he can actually get the kill on Morgan before it's too late, though. Wow. Counters are still going off. Black Panther and Shuri both have their counters flipped, but did it anyway. I guess it is what it is. Nakia is just going to keep pinging away at that Agatha through the stealth. Next one is going to kill Agatha. That is the last charge. Alright, so it looks like it does play out as intended. So they do beat DormHold. Not surprised there. A little surprised by Nakia's damage at 4 red, 4 yellow. That's a lot. I knew she was going to hit hard, but that's really hard. The ultimate from Black Panther 1 million gives safeguard to everybody. So they're not worried about Strange flipping it with his basic, which I believe is his next ability. Still lots of time to work. Yeah, see, nothing gets flipped. A couple things look like a dodge happened there. Lots of time to take out the Strange before he does his ultimate, but you do need to get to Strange before that ultimate, because otherwise you might lose people being recovered in buffs. Looks like only one stealth, so we'll see how many times his ultimate pings here. I think he's going to go with the ultimate. It's going to apply ability blocks, so Wong can't use his special, which would hit really hard, so definitely a good call there. Just as huge damage. Now we'll see how much Black Panther's special with that offense down will do. Took him out. Okay, so they beat DormHold as intended. That's good. Alright, in the same vein as the Infinity Watch team, we got to know how War Dogs handle Weapon X team, because Weapon X team, like Gamma, flips really, really well into war defense. It's a team I do think in the Super Sweaty Wars you're going to start seeing on defense, just because they basically need a mirror with Emma to take out, and that limits your other counters, right, against DormHold, against like a Dormammu Heroes for Hire, Dormammu Young Avengers, if you're seeing those. It limits it a little bit. The speed bar does really overdo the speed up. Omega Red, I think, gets a 750 speed bar out of 1000 on spawn, and he gets it to everybody. So now there's a decision to be made here. He goes for the special. That's going to get defense down everywhere. went for the basic. So a problem that the War Dogs have in this matchup is that Silver Samurai is stopping the assists. Seems to be going good so far. Got the Omega Raid out before he does that ultimate, which would probably be a death sentence. But wow, yeah, Sabretooth damage, crazy. Turn meter rewind. If Wolverine chooses that left side over there, yeah, that's a problem. So I've since spoken to Red. He did this matchup a couple times for me. This is, I think, the best showing of what he sent me. He did send me about 4 or 5, but he has since said that he thinks he figured it out. So as of now, it's at least a tricky matchup. All right, one of the War offensive teams that flexes the best into War defensive team is this Underworld. It basically demands currently a mirror matchup. Let's see how the War Dogs handle it. I don't think this is going to go good in the same way the Weapon X matchup was rough because the speed bar Taskmaster gets. We'll see how it goes here. And this is a punch down. So Mr. Negative goes first. That's a lot of damage plus ability blocks. Looks like Taskmaster is going to go first by a long shot with that offense up. And that's a wrap. Okoye down already. That's just done. So they don't hold up to Underworld. This is something that I got really mad at the developers about when I showed them how crazy Underworld is on defense. So in Super Sweaty Wars, if you see these guys on defense, don't even think about your War Dogs. They didn't even get a turn until it was just Shuri left. So that's a big L. Put an L in the chat for that. All right, so this is a team that we see quite a bit, actually, in the competitive scene. It's basically Tangled Web with Chavez and Dormammu. The reason we're seeing this is because Dormammu is, with, like, DormHold, doesn't really hold anymore because of the Undying team. And even the Underworld, if built high enough, can take it out, even though it's a little trickier. Dormammu with Gamma, not a thing. So Dormammu kind of shifts around. Now, Dormammu with Young Avengers, easily beaten by Weapon X. Dormammu with Heroes for Hire, easily beaten by Weapon X. Dormammu with Chavez, Tangled Web, not easily beaten by anything really except for Undying and Underworld. So let's see if War Dogs can hang here. And spoiler alert, this is where War Dogs kind of fall out of the top 3 conversation. So right off the bat, and that's not really a spoiler alert because it's going to happen immediately. Chavez makes 2099 go first. He removes the speed up from everybody and gives them slow. And then Weaver actually gets to go before anybody. Weaver here decided to stun Nakia. I don't think it matters who Weaver stuns in that case. There's just so much damage going through because of the defense down from Spider-Man 2099 that you fall behind. They lose their momentum. Well, they actually never get to gain momentum, and so they just lose this. And this is a trend with the War Dog team. A combination of Chavez Dormammu or Chavez Tangled Web gives War Dog problems. Now, is that the end of the world? Does that make this team useless? No, because we have answers for those combos in the form of Underworld and Undying. Now, if your enemy finds a way to make you use those teams against other teams, then it could be a problem. But yeah, not great here. Alright guys, and this I think is the matchup everyone is most intrigued by. This is the DormHold versus War Dogs matchup. I do think you want to make some changes to ISO in this matchup because of Morgan. We saw earlier against just regular DormHold, you were able to power through it with Nakia being a striker. But Nakia Raider here makes more sense. More vulnerables because Okoye is not going to be doing her assists. Morgan stops that in his tracks, so Raider makes sense here. So let's go ahead and jump into this, and we'll see how this goes. This is a 300k punch up in practice, which translates to about 100 to 150k in a live setting. So he likes to do the special on... where that was just the basic on Morgan there. He does the ultimate on Morgan as well. That's going to give him a bunch of buffs, most importantly, Safeguard. Now, as you see, it's still Dormammu who's dropped the most amount of life here because DormHold is just too damn tanky. So Dorm still gets pushed low enough that he's eating the Nakia attacks. Nakia is going to drop. Nothing gets flipped from the Morgan because we have that safeguard, and then she just gets torn up by these attacks. Morgan's still getting chewed up, but she's getting some more barrier. Now Agatha gets chewed up a little bit. Wong's about to ult here. So we're taking these hits really well, though, because of the safeguard and the defense up. That's really good. And Morgan is about to lose her first life. Okay, there's the ultimate from Nakia. Gives ability block to Wong, stopping his special damage, which I think is the right call. You get the chain damage from Black Panther, 1 million. That's also really good. Goes through stealth, so there he goes. And then Black Panther ultimate does take out the Agatha, even though he has offense down. Morgan gets pinged out, so this is really big. And the size of this team is not the same size as the red team. This is actually a much smaller team. I'm going to edit that in here in a second. So yeah, it beats DormHold, and it seems to beat them pretty good. It does take some strategy if you just try and go in there and power through it and not use the right abilities, particularly the Black Panther 1 million ultimate. And you can't get through Dormammu, you're going to have problems. But there you go. Alright, and finally, let's go ahead and see how they fare against Gamma. I'm sure they're going to one-shot Gamma, being they're the new war offense team. No problem, no sweat. Let's see how this goes. And Nikki is dead. Okay, never mind. They cannot beat Gamma, guys, on the fresh hit. My thinking is that maybe War Dog's best use could come from being the Gamma second hit. So you go in there with your Black Order, you get the Red Hulk to use his ultimate, and then you can go in there with War Dogs. Maybe. But seeing this and seeing the damage that comes out of the Gamma team right away before Shuri can actually get that defense up out there, I'm not sure yet, but we can only test that in the live testing. So it seems like Red was a little taken aback by his Nakia just being dead there too. But yeah, this one's a wrap. Nakia not getting a turn, like you might as well be in there with OG Wakanda at this point. It's just not going to work. But that we expect that, right? It's the Horseman team. It is the War Horseman team. They clearly still want there to be big wall defense teams out there. And this is the one. This is the Gamma team right now. You gotta do at least a burner. Anyway, I don't want to watch the rest of this. It hurts my heart. Alright, so what are my final thoughts on this War Dog team? They're really good, but they're not as good as Undying was, which was just one new character, one old character. This team does, of course, double up for the Death Scourge, though I don't think Nakia makes that cut. All the stuff that she loses out of war is a bit too much. So this is definitely like a top 5 war offense team. The fact that they struggle with Underworld, Weapon X, and Tangled Web with Chavez gives me some pause, but not enough to not invest in this team. They're just not the top 5. They're probably the top 4. They're probably ranked 4 in that. It would go like Gamma would be number 1 if you use Gamma on offense, then it'd be Undying, and then it'd be Underworld. That's just the way it goes. But would I suggest people invest in this team? Yeah. If you like war offense, go ahead and invest in this team. They're good, and I'll see you guys next time.